Brussels, once a tapestry of Flemish and Walloon, now echoes with the sounds of languages from across the globe. Walk the bustling streets and you'll hear the music of Arabic, Lingala and Wolof mingling with the familiar cadence of French and Dutch. This is not the Brussels of old. A demographic earthquake has reshaped the city. Nowhere is this transformation more evident than in the city's kindergartens. Smiling faces, a kaleidoscope of skin tones, represent a future generation that will redefine what it means to be Belgian. But these innocent faces mask a deeper truth. Brussels is at the vanguard of a demographic revolution sweeping across Europe. A revolution that is irreversible. The statistics are stark. 70% of kindergarten children in Brussels have a non-European background. Let that sink in. 70%. This is not a projection, not a prediction, but the reality on the ground today in 2025. It is a reality reflected in schoolyards, playgrounds and homes across the city. The face of Brussels is changing and the future belongs to this new generation. Who are these children who represent the future of Brussels? They are the sons and daughters of immigrants who have made their way to the Belgian capital from every corner of the world. They are the grandchildren of those who arrived decades ago. The largest group, comprising 40% of this new generation, traces its roots back to the Maghreb. Their families arrived from Morocco, Algeria and Tunisia, drawn by the promise of opportunities and a generous social system ranging from free schooling and healthcare to a full social security for unemployed citizens. Close behind are children of sub-Saharan African descent, representing 20% of the kindergarten population. They carry with them the legacy of nations like Congo, Senegal and Cameroon, adding their unique cultural tapestry to the city's evolving identity. From the vibrant fabrics of their clothing to the rhythmic beats of their music, they bring a taste of Africa to the heart of Europe. The remaining 10% is a mosaic of diversity children with roots in the Middle East, South Asia, East Asia and Latin America. Brussels may be the epicenter of this demographic earthquake, but its tremors are felt far beyond the city limits. Across Belgium, from the bustling port of Antwerp to the industrial heartland of Liège, the face of childhood is changing. In Antwerp, up to 45% of kindergarten children have a non-European background. Ghent, Liège and Charleroi all report figures between 25 and 40%. This trend is not confined to major cities. Smaller towns and villages are also experiencing a gradual but noticeable shift in their demographics. The influx of newcomers, drawn by economic opportunities or family ties, is changing the face of communities across the country. The change is slower, more subtle, but no less significant in its long-term implications. Belgium, it seems, is a nation in transition. Its identity, long defined by the linguistic and cultural divide between Flanders and Wallonia, is being reshaped by a new fault line, the growing divide between the diverse urban centres and the more homogeneous rural areas. The national average masks the stark reality of a nation increasingly divided along demographic lines. While roughly 25% of kindergarten children nationwide have a non-European background, this figure plummets to 10 to 20% in the rural areas of Flanders and Wallonia. The countryside, with its rolling hills and picturesque villages, remains largely untouched by the wave of immigration transforming the urban centres. This demographic divide is more than a statistical curiosity. It is a fault line that runs deep through Belgian society. It is reflected in cultural attitudes, economic opportunities and political allegiances. It is a divide that has the potential to reshape the very fabric of the nation. In the cities, diversity is a fact of life. In the countryside, however, where tradition holds sway, the influx of newcomers is often met with suspicion, even fear. The old ways are challenged and the future seems uncertain. The demographic earthquake shaking Belgium is not a silent one. Its tremors are felt in the halls of power, in the rise of right-wing political parties that exploit anxieties about cultural change and national identity. Parties like Vlaams Belang in Flanders and the N-VA have gained ground by appealing to those who feel threatened by the changing face of their country. They preach a message of fear and division, warning of the erosion of traditional values and the loss of national identity. They tap into a deep-seated unease felt by some segments of society who see the influx of immigrants as a threat to their way of life. Their rhetoric resonates with those who feel left behind by globalization, who yearn for a simpler time when Belgium was more homogeneous, more predictable. The rise of these right-wing parties is not a uniquely Belgian phenomenon. Across Europe, from France to Italy, from Germany to the Netherlands, similar parties have gained traction by exploiting anxieties about immigration and cultural change. They offer simplistic solutions to complex problems, preying on fears and insecurities. The demographic shift in Belgium is not merely a matter of numbers, it is a cultural earthquake, shaking the foundations of a nation long defined by its linguistic and cultural divide. The influx of immigrants from diverse backgrounds has created a more complex and nuanced cultural landscape, one where the old certainties are challenged and new identities are forged. The traditional divide between Dutch-speaking Flanders and French-speaking Wallonia has been complicated by the arrival of millions of people who speak neither language as their mother tongue. Brussels, once a city divided by language, is now a babel of over 100 languages, a testament to the city's evolving identity. This linguistic diversity is both a strength and a challenge. It enriches the city's cultural tapestry, but also creates barriers to communication and integration. The Flemish government's push to promote Dutch language acquisition, even imposing penalties for failure, has sparked resentment among some immigrant communities who feel their cultural identity is under attack. Belgium is not alone in facing the challenges posed by rapid demographic change. Across Europe, from the bustling capitals to the quiet countryside, the face of the continent is being transformed by immigration. In Germany, the arrival of over 1 million refugees in 2015, fleeing the horrors of war in Syria and other conflict zones, sparked a heated debate about integration, identity, and the limits of compassion. In France, the long-standing policy of laïcité, or secularism, has been tested by the growing visibility of Islam in public life. The demographic transformation of Europe is a complex and multifaceted phenomenon with no easy answers or quick fixes. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out more of our content.